From the skies over Europe to the vast Pacific, American bombers were the steel fist of the Allied war effort. These weren't just planes, they were flying fortresses, liberators, and super fortresses that reshaped the course of World War II. Today, we're diving deep into the history of every major American bomber that flew in the conflict, exploring their unique roles, groundbreaking technology, and lasting impact. Let's start with the Titans, the heavy bombers. When you picture a World War II bombing raid, you're probably thinking of the B-17 Flying Fortress. This iconic aircraft was the backbone of the American strategic bombing campaign against Germany. With its 10 to 13.50 caliber machine guns, it earned its Flying Fortress nickname. It could take an incredible amount of punishment and still bring its crew home. The B-17 was designed for high-altitude, daylight precision bombing, targeting key German industrial sites, factories, and military installations. Thousands flew in massive formations, creating a spectacle of air power never seen before. Their mission was to cripple the enemy's ability to wage war from the inside out, a brutal and dangerous task that came at a high cost. Flying alongside the B-17 was the B-24 Liberator. While perhaps not as famous, the B-24 was produced in even greater numbers, making it the most produced American military aircraft in history. What set the Liberator apart was its innovative Davis wing design, which gave it a higher top speed, greater range, and a heavier bomb load than the B-17. This made it incredibly versatile. In Europe, it joined the strategic bombing campaign, but its long range also made it the perfect choice for anti-submarine patrols in the Atlantic, helping to win the critical battle against German U-boats. In the Pacific, its ability to cover vast distances was essential for striking at heavily fortified Japanese islands. The B-24 was a true workhorse, less glamorous than the Fortress, but arguably just as vital to the war effort. Let us talk about the aircraft that brought the war to its devastating conclusion, the B-29 Superfortress. This was a technological marvel, leaps and bounds ahead of any other bomber in the world. It was the first bomber to have a fully pressurized crew cabin, allowing it to fly higher and faster than enemy fighters could easily reach. It also featured a remote-controlled computerized defensive weapons system, operating almost exclusively in the Pacific theater. The B-29 was designed for one purpose: to reach the Japanese mainland from distant island bases. Its initial high-altitude daylight raids proved difficult, but a shift in strategy to low-altitude nighttime firebombing raids on Japanese cities caused immense destruction. And of course, the B-29 would carry out the two most famous and controversial missions of the entire war. On August 6, 1945, the Enola Gay dropped the first atomic bomb on Hiroshima. 3 days later, Boxcar dropped the second on Nagasaki, forcing Japan's surrender and ending World War II. The B-29 represents the absolute peak of World War II bomber technology and the terrifying power it could unleash. While heavy bombers focused on strategic targets, the medium bombers were the versatile brawlers of the air war, handling a huge variety of missions. And no medium bomber is more legendary than the B-25 Mitchell. This rugged twin-engine aircraft was adaptable, reliable, and beloved by its crews. It could be used for level bombing, but it truly excelled at low-level strafing and attack missions, especially the variants armed with a dizzying array of forward-firing machine guns and even a 75mm cannon in the nose. But the B-25's most famous moment came just months after Pearl Harbor. On April 18, 1942, 16 B-25s, led by Lieutenant Colonel Jimmy Doolittle, took off from the aircraft carrier USS Hornet. This was a one-way mission, a daring raid to strike Tokyo and other Japanese cities. While the physical damage was minor, the psychological impact was immense. The Doolittle raid proved that Japan was not untouchable and provided a massive morale boost for the American public. The B-25 served with distinction in every theater of the war, a testament to its incredible design. Another key player in the medium and light bomber category was the A-20 Havoc, also known as the Boston by the British. This was a fast and agile aircraft that blurred the lines between a light bomber and a heavy attack plane. It was particularly effective at low-level treetop bombing and strafing ground targets. In the Pacific, it was a nightmare for Japanese ground troops and shipping. On the Eastern Front, the Soviet Union used thousands of A-20s to great effect against German armor and troop concentrations. Its speed and maneuverability allowed it to get in, deliver its payload, and get out before the enemy knew what hit them. The Havoc was a crucial tool for tactical air support, directly helping ground forces achieve their objectives on the battlefield. It wasn't about destroying factories from 25,000 feet. It was about supporting the soldier in the trench. Following the A-20 came its successor, the A-26 Invader. Arriving later in the war, the A-26 was arguably the fastest American bomber of the conflict. It was designed to be a multi-role aircraft capable of level bombing, ground attack, and even night interdiction. It featured a unique design where the nose could be swapped out. You could have a glass nose with a bombardier for precision strikes, or a solid nose packed with up to 8 50-caliber machine guns for devastating strafing runs. The Invader saw action in Europe and the Pacific in the final year of the war, proving to be a highly effective and powerful attack platform. Its performance was so good that it continued to serve for decades after World War II, flying in both the Korean and Vietnam Wars, a true testament to its advanced design. So, what did all this air power achieve? The American long-range bombing strategy was twofold. In Europe, it was a war of attrition. By relentlessly bombing factories, oil refineries, and transportation networks, the Allies aimed to starve the German war machine of resources. It was a costly and brutal campaign with heavy losses for the aircrews, but it undeniably degraded Germany's ability to produce tanks, planes, and ammunition. In the Pacific, the vast distances meant that the strategy evolved. Early on, it was about isolating and island hopping, using bombers to neutralize Japanese bases. Later, with the arrival of the B-29, it became about direct assault on the Japanese home islands, culminating in the atomic bombings. These aircraft were at the cutting edge of technology. Pressurized cabins, analog computers for bomb sights and gun turrets, turbo-superchargers that allowed engines to perform at high altitudes. These innovations were game-changers. The development of these bombers pushed American industry to its limits and established the United States as the world's leading aerospace power. The impact on the Allied victory cannot be overstated. Air superiority achieved by fighters and enforced by bombers was a cornerstone of Allied strategy. It crippled enemy production, disrupted supply lines, and demoralized populations. The men who flew these machines were some of the bravest of the war, flying deep into enemy territory with the knowledge that their chances of completing a full tour of duty were slim. Their sacrifice and the power of the machines they flew were instrumental in securing victory. From the B-17s that darkened the skies over Germany to the B-29 that ended the war, each of these American bombers played a unique and vital role. They were the tools of a global strategy, technological marvels, and the workplace of heroes. Thanks for watching. If you found this journey into aviation history interesting, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more. See you next time.